Oh man, that's so.
Welcome everybody to episode episode 8 of Planet Hero.
Episode 8. Yes.
Episode 8 of Planet Hero, breaking down episode 7. Look at this guy with the Marvel Cup on brand. Wow,
This is an overly size. When I ordered this, I didn't know it was like this big.
That big?
Like, look at the amount of coffee in here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the maximum setting on the Keurig, and it only filled up like halfway.
What is your Keurig? What is your Keurig? Danielle said, "Love TJ saying that's so annoying over the countdown." Yeah, there's a lot of technical difficulties going on. Why is TJ afraid to drive to the studio in the snow? I don't know, man. He's slacking. He's not going. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was just he had a busy day today, and it was just a hard time, crunch time for getting here. And if we were going to do the studio, we are trying to do something new with it to kind of make the camera angles a little more interesting for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So it requires a lot of tooling and stuff. So we're just going to retool it.
Tuesday.
Yeah, you can consider the first time we did in studio kind of like a dry run. And
Right.
then hopefully this Tuesday he's going to come over. And we're hopefully going to have, like about an hour and a half, not a little bit longer to, kind of get everything set up. Get the angles right and everything like that, and then we will be full on ready to go for the studio every single week. But with that, let's go ahead and dive right into the show. This is Planet Hero, as you guys know.
All right. Before we jump into IMDb, as I
Okay.
did last week, or not last week, as I did for Planet Film earlier in the week, I put out a call on Instagram and TikTok to see what
I saw we got at least one.
What people thought about the episode. We got one from TikTok, and then we got Danielle again from Instagram.
Danielle holding it down.
Yeah. On Instagram, Danielle said, if I go pull it up here. Oh, it's not the right thing. Hold on. Sorry. Danielle said, my least favorite quotes decade. Okay.
Not a fan of modern time.
Okay. Yeah. We'll get into the intro.
Okay.
Because I actually have a question. And then on TikTok, where is he? That's the Zendaya one. Cruz is a dude said episode 7 was awesome.
There you go.
Yeah, and he followed us on TikTok, so thank you very much.
Bang.
Yeah, that video. I knew it wouldn't kind of like do as much as the other ones because it was really just it was like 3 static images, just asking questions. So like I knew it wouldn't. So it didn't get as many. It got less plays than I thought it would, but yeah, I'll probably make another one for the movie we're reviewing this week, which we'll say at the end of the show. But
yeah.
Anyway,
Tease it
on
out.
to the IMDb of this episode. So, it was not an hour long, even though most of the internet thought it would be. This was called Breaking the Fourth Wall. 35 minutes. Aired last night. Did you have trouble watching it?
I did not. So I don't know. We'll talk about it, TJ. I think I don't know. I think it seems like you kind of gave up on the quest we were on.
We finished Iron Man 3 and
you were like,
it was
you're
either
tapped
like
out?
it was either like we stay up till 3 or we go to sleep and then wake up at 3 and then watch it and then go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Or
We just watch it in the morning.
we watched in the morning and we ended up watching in the morning.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So we'll talk a little bit about what TJ just kind of teased it a little bit, but we'll talk in a little bit about what we did to kind of try and help hopefully stay up. Because we assumed this was going to be a very spoilerific episode. We'll also talk about, kind of turned out not so much. big spoilers, obviously, but the
Mhm.
whole there was a big thing that everybody was expecting, didn't really pan out. So we were both basically really excited for it. So we were gonna make a point to try and stay up. Um, I did stay up. Fired up the TV at
Mhm.
3:07. It
Because
was
they usually take some minutes to update, and yeah.
yeah, it was at 3:07. It was there. It didn't have, just like all of WandaVision this year, it kind of has like a few hours with no episode title, and then the episode
Oh,
title goes
yeah.
on. So
Yeah.
it said episode 7. I was like, is this it? Yeah, it was. So I was like, because I was like, wait, because I was surprised because I'm so used to Mando. Mando was like
Yeah.
3:45. Why isn't it here yet? It's still not
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
Like, you know
yeah,
what I mean? Like,
yeah.
so yeah,
Especially, I
episode
think
7, I pulled it right
the
up, no
the
problem.
the launch of Disney Plus when the first episode was out, and it was
Oh
like,
my god,
okay,
yeah.
it's 4 a.m. and where is it?
Yeah.
But continuing on, so the description of this episode is: Monica plots her return, Wanda navigates unsettling complications, and Vision forms a new alliance. Directed by Matt Shackman, as in every single episode as well. Written by Cameron Squires, Jack Schaefer, and then there's 10 other credits, which I'm not going to read all those. Then we have Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, Catherine Hahn, Tiana Paris, Randall Park, Kat Dennings, uh, Evan Peters. He was already in the episodes, but he's in this for like 2 seconds. Julian Hilliard, Jack Klein to play their kids, and Josh Stamberg. Deborah Jo Rupp is on here, but I don't remember her ever being in the episode.
No, she definitely wasn't in this week.
I watched it twice.
I wonder if she
And
has like an agreement that she's to be in the credits
oh, okay.
of every episode. Like Evan
Yeah.
Peters is not in every episode, but he has been in every episode since he came on, but like
Yeah.
what's it called? Like Tiana Paris, her
Yeah.
name is in the credits of every episode, and like she wasn't in the first episode.
Oh, okay.
So I think there's some people that have like probably
An
just
agreement?
negotiated it. Yeah, it's probably just like a
Gotcha.
contractual thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's it for the IMDb.
Boom. Yeah, so we could talk a little bit about, for you loyal Planet Hero listeners, which by the way, I see there's 4 people watching. Shout yourselves out in the chat. Let us know who is joining us on this.
Subscribe if
lovely,
you haven't. Hit the like button.
Yes, absolutely. As the new intro says, better hit that like button, you better hit that notification bell. Because what I'm about to say for you loyal Planet Hero listeners, who I hope convert into Planet Council listeners, in a few weeks we will be doing an episode of that, and then that shit will be back, obviously. But for you loyal listeners, we have a little bit of a tease here, a little bit of announcement. Make sure you have the notification bell on, because me and TJ talked a little bit today. We're gonna try and get some extra content up on the channel, not just the main shows, because we love doing the main shows. Seemingly, I'm gonna jinx it right now. I know there's a difficult week coming up because for Easter, I'm gonna be working a lot Easter week, so that might be a little bit difficult, but we've been getting a steady rhythm. We talked to you guys about in the beginning of January that 2021 is going to be the year of consistency. We have not missed a single week of shows. Last week, this past Tuesday, was a little.
We
touch
almost
and go.
did.
I was very.
We almost did, but
yeah,
I persevered.
Yeah,
I said no.
Yeah, I was very. I was very not feeling it with my migraine last week, but we got the nice ring light back. I'm feeling a little bit better, a little bit more refreshed. Only had a 5.5-hour shift today, so I'm not a total zombie.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. So we are trying to get kind of not bite-sized, but just shorter, 5 to 15 minute length things. We started just yesterday. TJ edited out and clipped out our Malcolm and Marie review. That is now a solo video on the channel, a companion video, as some YouTubers call them.
Which I'll probably end up doing with every single review, because it only takes like 15 minutes.
Yeah, and we'll probably clip out big sections of like the review and stuff. As long as it's not a week that the review goes like 40 or 50 minutes, then it's just like just watch the
Yeah.
main episode. But for
Yeah.
Malcolm and Marie, we kept it to a nice little 20-minute review for you guys, so we just stuck that up on the channel as its own video. And we are going to try and do more. We are going to try and bring you guys more reactions, more watch-alongs, edited down, of course, if we do like full watch-alongs of stuff. Which, I mean, that would be cool if I think maybe, I'm just going off the cuff here live on air. I haven't talked to TJ about this. Maybe we will throw together a watch along of WandaVision. Just us watching it. It's kind of like a commentary thing or something for maybe the finale, maybe the very last episode. We might try to throw something like that up. We're definitely going to do a lot more trailer reactions. That is something we talked about. And then also bringing us back to watching this episode. Coming up on Planet Film next month, I'm not going to tell you guys exactly what it is, but we have an awesome MCU-themed episode in the works that I think you guys are going to enjoy very much. And I know we say this all the time, but I think it will be an episode with spirited debate and lively conversation, and I don't think it's one that you would want to miss live. Because I think there's going to be a lot of back and forth, but that's as much as I will say. But because of that MCU-themed episode, TJ and I, and also, TJ with Danielle, have been kind of re-upping on the MCU, going through our, kind of binge watch of the movies. Hopefully, we will get that done by the time WandaVision wraps up. So basically, that's what we were doing the night that this episode came out, that Thursday night. TJ and Danielle are on, you said, Iron Man 3.
Yeah, just
and
finished.
Then I was on, it's funny because I originally was just going to watch the Avengers movies, to kind of lead up to it, just to kill time and because I thought it would be interesting. But then then TJ was like, well, we're doing the rewatch. And I was like, oh, yeah, let me continue mine. It ended up being the same movie, which was Age of Ultron, which is where I left off on. So I watched Age of Ultron, and then I watched Ant-Man, and then I watched the episode. Very interesting watching Age of Ultron and then watching this show. It's just so Scarlet Witch especially. It's like it's night and day. The character. And then because of what this show does to his character, Vision as well is like completely night and day. But yeah, so that's what we were doing. Now, do you want to go ahead and break down? Let's jump to initial thoughts on this.
Okay.
So let me ask you first: was anything spoiled for you? Did anything get spoiled for you at all for this one?
No, because I went to sleep at whatever time before the episode came out, and then I woke up, worked from home, and we watched it about 10 o'clock.
Gotcha. In the morning?
So I may have watched it while I was working. But,
I was just gonna say this guy.
Yeah. But yeah, but no,
Yeah,
nothing was. I kept away from Twitter for that time.
Gotcha. You want to jump in with your initial thoughts of the episode?
Yeah. So this episode I thought was a good setup. I feel like every episode's a good setup for the next episode. But this one is like, okay, like at the end of it, it's like, okay, stuff is gonna happen in these next 2 episodes or 3 because there's people saying there's a possible secret 10th episode that I don't know if that exists.
I think that's like the most likely rumor I've heard. You know what I mean? Like people were like, "Oh, do you guys think that these were originally supposed to be aired as like all at once to binge?" And I'm like, "No, absolutely not. Like it's not formulated like that. Disney Plus doesn't do that." But the one rumor like that I could see happening is we might wake up on the night of the finale to 2 episodes. That'd be
so cool.
That'd be a baller move. Because then, if we have 3 episodes left, from where they're going here, it's basically just going to be a movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's going to be
because they said it's supposed to be 6 episodes or 6 hours in whole.
Yeah, but they could have been lying about that number.
3.5 or something like that.
Yeah, they could have been lying about that number.
Yeah, I don't know. We got some reveals that were cool. We got some cool. I like the whole Modern Family / The Office intro. I'd say the. I mean, obviously, it's like what would the decade be? Like the 2000s, 2010s.
It'd be like 2010s, yeah.
Yeah, so like I'd say the entire episode almost is in the format of Modern Family. Like obviously there's some Office in there, but the Office is like they're in an office, not in a house, not a family, you know.
And also Modern Family, owned by ABC, owned by Disney, so it's
Right.
kind of easier to do
Also
that
true.
than an NBC show.
And we got I thought, man, I just think Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany are so good. Like just so good as such good actors. Like I feel like this show
Bro.
over anything like in the MCU that they've done together is really shown like how good of an especially like Paul Bettany. Yeah, I
And
mean
the
both
range,
of
the
them. Yeah.
range of them.
Yeah, in this episode I also thought Kat Dennings and Paul Bettany's
Their
chemistry was
great,
good.
Yeah.
Actually, quick note, Danielle mentioned mentioned this when we were watching it. You know, like the strong man that appears.
Yeah.
Like she goes, that looks like a knockoff James McAvoy. Would you agree with that? I think he looks like a poor man's James McAvoy.
I guess I could see that. Yeah, it's the same guy that's been the sword agent like the whole season though.
Oh,
Do you know?
okay.
Yeah, like that's why
I think I know what you're talking about.
That's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
when Darcy punched him, it was like, yeah, because it was like he was the
Yeah,
guy
yeah,
that
yeah.
was like, just make your evaluation. Like when she was like,
is this
"Can I
the
get a
guy that was
coffee?"
like when she was trying to lift up the thing and he was just like standing there and she was like, is that the same
yeah,
guy?
yeah, it's the same.
Yeah.
And then the same guy that locked her up to the Jeep and stuff. Like it's
Right,
like the
right,
same
right,
guy
right.
that's been like a thorn in her side the whole time. He got turned into
Gotcha.
like the wrangler at the carnival.
But yeah, overall, like I thought it was a really good episode. Maybe like not. It was very good, but I don't think it was like the best. Like I think the best is still yet to come, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think every episode's been great,
Yeah.
and they've all been kind of ranked. I would say like a smidge on top of each other. Like this is probably like mid top tier, maybe closer top tier
Yeah.
to me. Just from what happens at the end. But yeah, I thought this episode was great, and I can't wait for next week.
Yeah, to me, it's just like this is just the like we're ratcheting up. Same thing we kind of saw with Mando, right? Mando season 1. We're ratcheting up the roller coaster, and then we get a little dip, and then the drop. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I think that's what this week was. I think this was kind of the okay. Enjoy the sitcom thing while it lasts. Soak up
Yeah,
the
I
last bits of it because it's done.
It's,
you know what I
at this
mean?
point,
Like,
it's over.
yeah, like enjoy this whole sitcom thing. You know, this is the last one that we're doing, and then where you're inside of an MCU movie.
Right.
Okay, so I'll go to my initial thoughts here. I thought this was, in terms of the comedy, I thought this was one of the funniest episodes they've done. Specifically the Vision stuff, because to me, and I haven't seen this anywhere, and I am interested to know if you agree. I hope you do agree because you're such a fan of the show, as I am. Wanda was living in Modern Family. Vision was Larry David this week because he was the whole carnival thing. Whole carnival thing. I just kept getting Curb vibes the entire time. Like when the guy's like banging on the thing and Vision's going, "We were double booked by the agency. I'm sorry. I can't hear you. I don't know. Like, and they're just like driving away and it's like almost like the Curb music is playing, like the
yeah, they should have done that. Would have been really funny.
Like I think that's what they were going for with him and Darcy. It was just oh my god.
I mean that
Paul
on top
Bettany
of like
is
his
so
like
funny.
Vision's one-on-one interviews. Like
Oh
his
my
talking
God,
heads
yeah.
outside like on the chair, and he's like, and then at one point he's like, what am I doing here? I gotta go do this other thing. Like,
Yeah,
why
he's
am
like,
I
I gotta
talking
go
to
check
you?
on my wife. What am I doing? And he's like, why am I? And then I love with that too. He like takes the microphone off of himself, and then he bumps into the boom mic and shit. And then and then I love that what it does, because like shows like TV shows and like reality shows and sitcoms, you know, with the talking heads, they always edit the talking heads to be like it's like their inner thoughts, like their inner monologue.
Right.
But you never really think about that. But then like you see Vision walks out of the interview, and then you cut back to reality and he flies out of the truck, because you're like,
Right.
Nobody's actually interviewing him. Like in reality, it's just like with The Office, you know, The Office on the other hand, you know, that one is more the talking heads are explained. Like you can tell that it's always, the talking heads are always either before or after the fact. Like actually in the show. But like Modern Family, a talking head in like Modern Family, that's like their inner thoughts. Or like a talking head on like Hell's Kitchen or something. They're like, and I knew at that moment, you know, I shouldn't have overcooked the salmon. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're
Hey, Gordon, he was pissed.
Yeah, he was pissed. Like, what are you? A WandaVision. Okay, let's get Gordon Ramsay on WandaVision.
Oh my lord.
What if that even I don't even know what I'm talking
I
about.
don't know.
Anyways, I just thought it was a great episode, one of the funniest ones. I've seen it 3 times. It only clicked on the 3rd time that Darcy was the escape artist in the chains because she was handcuffed to the truck.
Right.
The handcuffs turned into the chains. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together with that until the 3rd time I watched it.
Yeah, Danielle said something about that earlier because I didn't realize that either.
And I was like, oh my God, that is perfect. And I love that she was just immediately thinking that like Vision was hitting on her. That she was like, no, I don't want to go out with you. And then he was like, no, exactly. please. Like, no, you have to listen to me. And she's like, all right, fine, 1 date, but I'm ordering the lobster. Like she was like, and then I thought it was very interesting. I don't know if it was just because she had only been in there for like a day. If that, actually it wasn't even a day. It was like, it was like the immediate next moment. You know what I mean? Like almost from last week's episode. It was like the next morning basically. But when Vision wakes her up, when he goes and like zaps her head, she doesn't like scream. Like her brain's not like melting like Norm's was.
No,
But then again, we know that Norm has been under the person who has been doing all of this, which we'll get to in a little bit, has been under her, spell kind of for a lot longer. So I just thought that was very interesting that Norm like freaked out completely. Right. But also then again, Norm is just a regular guy, has no idea what's going on. Darcy knows exactly what's going on and has actually seen Vision do that to Norm. Which is very... So I have a question about the show.
Okay.
About the actual conceit that is WandaVision. Okay. I'm trying to think about...
Do we want to get into the episode first, and then is this a short question or a long question?
I guess it's just a short question. So remember the whole thing about like Wanda is censoring the broadcast? Like you remember that whole thing about like anything that she didn't like didn't get shown to the audience? Right. What was like the deal then with us seeing what Vision was doing last week? Like, how did we see that?
I think it's like, I think it's not that, like, it's not meta. Like, it's not that,
basically, like, the
show's not that constraintive. Like, it's not like you can't, it's not like they didn't stick to the Wanda only show, like, they only stuck to it for those characters that are watching the show inside the show.
Gotcha. Yeah. And also,
I think that's what,
also then again, we don't know if Sword saw that, actually, now that I think of it. Because we saw the stuff that she edited out. Never mind. I just answered my own question because we saw what she edited out, but the Sword agents didn't. So that must have been why. Right. But very, very interesting. Let's go ahead and get into it because there are a lot of aspect ratio changing scenes in this episode that we're going to get up to and talk about. Here, hang on, sorry. Okay, let's answer these 2 chat questions. Do you think this show in its entirety would be considered a comedy?
In its entirety? I don't think so.
I don't think
it's
so
like
in
part
its entirety.
comedy. But
I think
no.
I would even struggle to call it an action comedy because it's really, the comedy is literally just there to hide the terrible tragedy that's actually happening. We're literally watching a woman lose her mind and also the antics of her dead husband. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, so I wouldn't consider it a comedy, no. Right. And then Danielle says, random thought, but if you guys should rank every scene Stan Lee was in from worst to best. So like rank his cameos. Yeah, that'd be cool. That would be a cool
I'd be
idea.
cool with that.
Yeah, that would be a cool like one-off Planet Hero episode idea. That would be a cool like thing to do on Planet Hero. I mean, doesn't even have to be the main topic because we could bang that out and like, well, maybe. Well, yeah, we'll see. But that is a good idea. Awesome. All right, cool. Yeah, so let's go ahead and start breaking down the episode. You want to start with kind of what we went through, and then we'll kind of jump around to the important things.
Yeah.
Cool.
You mean like the synopsis, like going through it, the episode?
Like if you, yeah.
Okay. Well, we have Wanda waking up and in her bed, and Vision obviously isn't there. Talking to the camera, Wanda says they've all had days when they've expanded the walls of the false world they've created. So basically, she's acknowledging what she did. And I thought was interesting was when she kind of like flips the sheets over. She's still in her like Halloween costume, where it's like
I thought that was funny.
These decades are kind of bleeding in to each other almost, or these these sitcom decades. Wanda goes back to bed and covers her head with the covers. Billy and Tommy come in and ask if she's getting up soon, because their video games are freaking out. And then we cut to they're playing games. So first they have Wii controllers, and then it turns into a GameCube controller, and then it turns into an Atari controller, I believe it is. And then I think is it Uno after that?
Yeah, and then it turns into Uno cards.
Which I thought was really funny. As soon as I saw GameCube, I was like, "Oh my god!" The nostalgia is coming rushing back to me. Which, man, I was like looking online the other day for like a Wii that was like modded with like all the games on it already, because I just wanted to play like the game. I just wanted to feel something. I wanted to play the GameCube games
I just wanted to feel something. Oh my god.
And Billy complains that there are voices in his head, and Wanda tells her sons that she's just resting their lives.
Resting her eyes.
Resting her eyes. It says lives.
It was probably written by a robot.
Yeah, and then Wanda says that she's taking the whole day to herself. Wanda takes covers off her bed. She discovers that she's wearing her Halloween costume. She goes downstairs wearing a bathrobe, goes to the refrigerator and gets some almond milk and cereal. As she's pouring the cereal and the milk, things kind of start glitching out around her. The milk especially is glitching out.
Keeps changing.
It kind of changes from. Does it start off as a carton? I believe
it starts off as an almond milk carton. And then it changes into a regular milk carton, and then it goes to a
glass.
Yeah.
Now, theory: do you think that this kid on the carton, there's a missing child on the milk carton? Do you think that is a reference to anything, or no?
I think yes. I think probably it's something subliminal to Wanda herself. Kind of like maybe it's something that Wanda, put out there. You know what I mean? Something subconsciously, because we see all the time that it's subconscious stuff happens with her, where maybe it's like these kids are missing. This is like an actual Wanda poster from the real world, and then also we saw on the set pictures for the Spider-Man 3 that we see there's a ton of wanted or of missing posters for little kids all over the place too. So I think that would be maybe tie into it as well, because it's going to. I think that's an element that's going to tie into Spider-Man is all these missing kids. So I think it might have something to do with that.
Right. So basically, Wanda just kind of dismisses the entire thing and basically says it's a case of the Mondays, and then we get the intro theme. So the intro song is basically a mixture of The Office. Modern Family is the kind of end title card. And what is there's another one, but I don't remember what it was. I remember watching a video and somebody was like, "Oh, this is this," but I don't remember like what the show was.
It reminded me. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I want to say it was like called Neighbors or something like that. I don't know why.
I mean, that is a show.
It definitely wasn't, but it was. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Neighbors is definitely the name of a show. I don't know if it has to do with that. Let's see. Intro references. But what it struck me as is it reminded me of Napoleon Dynamite. Because Napoleon Dynamite, that movie, they like show the logo in a bunch of different fonts and styles, and like the whole intro to that is like all the opening credits of the movie is like all these different fonts on like paper plates and then on like a school desk, like, and it just kind of reminded me of that because the opening is basically just the word Wanda with some other things here and there, just on different things on a license plate, fridge magnets, that kind of stuff. That I can't figure out where.
Before I forget, before I go too far past.
Yeah.
Do you watch with subtitles on by chance?
I do not, but I should. I watched
Okay,
the episodes like 3 times through. You'd think that I would put the subtitles on for at least one of them.
There is a thing that you cannot hear when she is pouring the cereal and milk. That there is I think it's either on the TV or a radio broadcast saying like, "Welcome back to blah 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 this channel," and it has like a bunch of things about candy. I forget what the radio station was called. It was called like WM something.
Oh, it's WNDA.
Yes,
like
that.
Wanda.
Yeah. Wanda. Okay, yeah. So, but you can't hear it. Like if you have the subtitles on, you'll be able to see that. But yeah. So after the end credits or the opening credits, we go to Sword on the base, and we have Hayward joins an agent and looking at the expanded barrier. The broadcast signal is gone, and Hayward tells the agent that they'll launch that day. And that is the last we see of Hayward for the entire episode. We get that little snippet of basically he's cooking something up. We don't know what it is, but we know it's something.
I forgot that was the last we got from him.
Yeah, we don't see him again at all.
Yeah.
So I assume he'll obviously he's going to come back in the next episode, but this launch that they're doing, I'm going to assume it's going to come in the next episode. Because I'm assuming that we're going to be in the same day in the next episode. Because when we left, it wasn't dark or anything. You know, it wasn't close to nighttime. And we're not skipping to a new decade and new day. So I don't see why there'd be a reason to be a new day.
Unless we don't, the only thing I can think of is we don't know how long from the end of the actual episode to the post-credit was.
Right. Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That's the only time. That's the only place where I think.
Well, no, that'd be. I think that was like 5 minutes. Because we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Not to get ahead of ourselves. So Vision wakes up in the middle of the circus. That was the Sword base before the barrier expanded. The strong man comes over and asks Vision, "Is he a strong man?" Right? That's what he does. Okay. Comes over and asks Vision if he's the new clown and tells him that he's late for rehearsal with the escape artist. The escape artist is Darcy, and Vision comes over and recognizes her from the previous night when he saw the Sword base. She walks off, and Vision goes after her. So this is what you're talking about earlier when they're like kind of bantering back and forth, and she's like under like the whole spell where she's
she's
kind
like
of playing
the
character.
Yeah.
Right. And she's like, "I'm not going out with you," or "Fine, I'll go out with you, but I'm ordering lobster."
Yeah.
And
I love how she says she auditioned for the bearded lady, but her skin is like she was like her complexion is too white. It has nothing to do with the fact that she doesn't have a beard.
Right. And then Wanda. Okay, so next we have Wanda checking with Tommy and Billy, and they haven't seen Vision either. So they're like, "Where's that? Like, like, where's Dad? Like, we haven't seen him. Like." And they were like, "Oh, what did Uncle P mean last night when he was like, your husband can't die 3 times, or is it twice?" Because
she said about killing your husband, or Billy said about killing your husband twice.
Right, and she's like, "Don't say that. Like, that's not your uncle."
Yeah.
So that was kind of, creepy. So where are we? When Tommy asks who he is, Wanda says that she's their mother, but doesn't have any answers, and she's starting to believe that everything is meaningless. So as we'll see kind of throughout the episode, she's really kind of losing control of everything. We're getting way more glitches than we have been getting. Wanda, and then kind of cuts to like another talking head, and Wanda figures that she went dark, but her sons can handle it, given their father has vibranium skin, which means they should have thick skin. Technically. As Wanda sits down, her sons, Agnes arrives and offers to take the boys with her so Wanda can have some me time. Tommy is reluctant, figuring someone should be there with Wanda. Wanda assures her sons that they'll be fine. As Wanda settles down with a bowl of cereal, the house furnishings change different eras. Wanda uses her magic to restore them to normal. So that's basically what I was talking about, is like the kind of like the glitches starting to happen throughout the house. But did you take anything from that at all? Like the whole like glitch, like
I think it's just going to show that, it's kind of hard because everything in this episode has kind of been turned on its head because we don't really know where the magic is coming from. But it's just kind of showing at least the stuff that is in Wanda's control, or the stuff that she is focusing on. Although I think maybe everything to do with the hex is coming from Wanda.
Right.
I think it's just showing she tripled. They basically said she tripled the size of the hex.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything that she could focus on before, she is now stretched thin 3 times over. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So she's trying to do all this stuff with this intersection with Vision, trying to keep him from coming home. At the exact
Mm-hmm.
same time, she's got to be worrying about every single person in the entire town. And we were already seeing with the hex at the size it was in the Halloween episode, she couldn't make people move like 4 streets away. You know what I mean? Like we saw that everything was like kind of coming apart, like a couple blocks away the Vision was at. So I think that's what it is just everything's kind of coming apart. She can't keep track of it because there's so much now that she is in control of. It's kind of overwhelming her, I think. That's what I took away from, the house changing and doing all the glitches and stuff.
Did I skip over like Monica and Jimmy, or is that coming up?
No, I think that's coming up.
Okay. Sorry. This I need to find like a better source for like reading like the synopsis, because I'll be honest, I watched the episode and I couldn't tell you the entire episode like 5 minutes after I watched it. And this IMDb one sucks. But so where are we? So Wanda settles down with a bowl of cereal, house burning, eras, insists, so Wanda is basically kind of like, I'm fine. Like she just kind of ignores everything that's kind of happening around her. So then we have Monica and Jimmy driving away from the town, and Jimmy checks what Darcy found on the other side of the firewall that she was hacking into in the previous episode. There are a lot of R&D files for Project Cataract, which reveal that Hayward was trying to bring Vision back online. Nothing worked until Wanda stole Vision's body. They figure out that Hayward wants his sentient weapon back, and Jimmy says that someone has to tell Wanda. So basically kind of everything we were assuming in previous episodes is that.
Wow.
What?
Sorry, I just pulled up the episode to just skim through to like go if the synopsis sucks, like to figure out, and I just paused right on the email. It says, "Hey Jimmy." Let me see. It says, "Hey Jimmy, I made it through the firewall. There are dozens of R60 reports on all the same project, codenamed Cataract. I found schematics of Vision's body. Hayward wasn't decommissioning Vision. He was trying to bring him back online, and he was using sword resources to do it. He tried over and over, but nothing worked until Wanda stole Vision's body. This is a decoy communique he sent to Vision's office, Darcy." So does that mean that... What does that mean? This is a decoy communique he sent to Vision's office. What does that even mean? Does that mean that the email that he got that said it was from Darcy wasn't actually from her? Because we never saw Darcy send that. Very interesting. Right. Sorry, I just stopped and I was just like, oh wow, I can perfectly read that. I was surprised it wasn't like blurred out or anything.
So basically, once they get to the hex field, as they're driving, they meet up with a major. Okay, so this is important because everybody leading up to this episode was like, oh, who's going to be the aerospace engineer? Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, oh, is it going to be Reed Richards? Is it going to be this other person? Like, is John Krasinski going to show up? Because that's everybody's fan casting for Reed Richards. And we get to it, and it is, I don't know her name. Do you know her name? Somebody that is not like a big character. And everybody's very disappointed.
All, yeah.
And
I don't even know if it's
me and Danielle looked at each other, and we go, I don't think that's who they're talking about. Now you Snapchatted me and said, wow, that was a disappointment. And I was like, I don't think that's the space person.
Major Goodner. Let me consult the Marvel wiki here.
Like if they were going to reveal a space engineer, they would have said, oh, like Jimmy being the audience, basically, in one way or another.
Is this the space
would have been,
engineer?
The space engineer, what's her name? Yeah, like I think they would have put that in there. I think it's still yet to come.
There's nobody even from the comics named Goodman.
Right.
So
I think Elizabeth Olsen's giant cameo, Paul Bettany's person he has wanted to work with, and Tiana Paris's space engineer are the same person.
really,
Because I mean that's what I think.
okay, yeah, so I don't think we met this aerospace engineer. But I think maybe we're not going to in
Okay.
this. I don't know though, because it's like because my thing is she said, you know, I know an aerospace engineer who would love this. She
Right.
never really ever even said that the aerospace engineer is the person bringing the thing. She just said, "Oh, I know an aerospace engineer who would love this challenge." That's all she
Like
said.
I just feel I felt like everybody assumed that that's who she was talking about. But I don't
Yeah.
think that's it at all because they never refer to her as that. They
Yeah.
just call her Major.
And then
Like
and then it's like sorry about that. What would the aerospace engineer's purpose be to come into this story now with only 2
Right.
episodes left? Like, that's what I don't get. Like, Doctor Strange to me, perfect sense. Absolutely. Makes total sense. Probably the last 5 or 10 minutes, he's going to be
Right.
like, yo, I'm taking this bitch. We out. You know what I mean? Like that kind of, that kind of shit.
Can you do like the whole hand thing?
the whole, like, oh yeah, like the,
Yeah.
you ever notice that Doctor Strange's like magic moves to like do the shield and stuff looks like a TikTok dance? He's like,
Yeah. I've seen people on TikTok be doing that.
what's it? Oh yeah, absolutely. But I just don't know what would be the purpose of the aerospace engineer coming in, because this was the thing they needed that has anything to do with that, and that's it.
Yeah.
And now they had it, didn't work, and it's over.
What I thought was she contacted the aerospace engineer and the aerospace engineer sent these people. That's what I thought.
I could jive
But
with
that would make. But if they're going to appear on the show, how do you get them in the show?
Exactly. That's why I think maybe the aerospace engineer is somebody who might even show up like Captain Marvel 2.
Right. Yeah. Because did Tiana Paris say she was in the show, or that person was in the show, or did she just say, "Oh, I can't wait for you to meet the space engineer"? Like,
no, Tiana Paris. All Tiana Paris said was "get excited." That's literally all she said.
Oh,
she
okay.
just said what should they? Somebody was like, "What should fans expect from this episode?" And she just said, "Well, they better get excited." Probably in reference to her own character becoming a superhero in this episode, which we will get to.
Yeah, and the end. Probably.
Yeah, and the end. Like, I just don't think that the you're not a huge fan of Benedict. Danielle doesn't like Doctor Strange.
No, she's not the biggest Doctor Strange fan.
Wow. Well, I got bad news for you. He's probably the new Tony Stark, so get used to him. What's it called? No, but seriously, Benedict Cumberbatch signed like a 10-movie deal, so get used to him. What's it called? Yeah, like, see, like I'm watching it back. I'm just playing it here with the subtitles on. And it says, did we get your specs right? Is this exactly what you wanted? So it's like, clearly, I think you might be right. I think she talked to whoever the aerospace engineer is, and then the aerospace engineer maybe built this but didn't come with
Right.
I think that is probably what
I could buy
happened.
that.
Because it would make no sense for her to just be like, oh, I know an aerospace engineer who would do this. Like, and then you get the thing that is built by an aerospace engineer. But you know what I mean? Like, but then why would the person come back?
Right.
So I think maybe that person might not be in the show, but you could absolutely be correct that they could all be the exact same person. That the big character reveal is the aerospace engineer, somebody Paul Bettany's always wanted to work with, and somebody who is Luke Skywalker level.
See, now if they never said that if she never said that the aerospace engineer is in the show, then I think they're separate people. Because Paul Bettany, I don't think will be I don't think Wanda or Paul Bettany will be in, Paul Bettany or Elizabeth Olsen will be in Captain Marvel 2.
Yeah, and
I think
Paul
this
Bettany
would be
said the big cameo person is somebody who he has many delectable or whatever he said, delectable scenes with.
Okay.
So he said it's a person I've longed to work. I'll throw this out to you. Big
Okay.
get the little hoo-ah,
Yeah. Oh my God, I've heard this.
Hey man, I've heard this. People say he's played the devil in the past.
Yep.
And Paul Bettany has said that his acting idol is has always been Al Pacino, and we also know that Al Pacino is a huge fan of the MCU. He has talked to Kevin Feige about role. I'm like, it is funny to think of, but
dude, I would lose it if I saw Al Pacino.
Literally, Al Pacino has met with Feige about roles in the MCU. He likes the MCU. He's a big Guardians and Avengers fan.
Yeah,
it's not the craziest thing. And Paul Bettany is clearly like over the moon with whoever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want what? You want who's Eric? Who's Eric Allen Kramer?
That's Bob Duncan from Good Luck Charlie.
Good.
He did play Thor at one point.
Really?
I think that's who she's talking about. I think that's his name. I could be wrong.
That's
he played Thor in. Yeah. He played Thor in. What was it? It was like really old. It was an old Avengers thing. Jesus Christ, he's got a lot of credits.
Was he like some like 80s or 90s like Avengers movie? Oh, is he the one that played him in Thor versus Hulk or whatever that was from like the 90s?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think so. That's funny. I didn't know that was the dad from Good Luck Charlie. That's funny.
When Lou was Hulk, yeah.
Yeah, so he played Thor in the Hulk versus Thor movie that they did like in the 90s.
Yeah.
Did you notice, by the way, that the actual rig that they bring up that Monica drives, the rover, is shaped like a hexagon at the front?
Oh no, I didn't.
Yeah.
We're not there yet, Sean. We're not there yet.
What's the next scene? Let's get there.
Oh, really? On here, it doesn't. That's not what it says. Is it the next scene? No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, they cut away.
No, they pull up. They're talking, and they pull up, and they say, "Oh, here they are now." And then they talk to Goodner, and then they pull out the rover.
Yeah, they pull it out, but she doesn't drive it.
No, yeah, I just mean the the look of it, because they do a big shot of it.
Right. My apologies. So after that, we're back in the Hex with Vision and Darcy. Vision continues to follow Darcy, trying to persuade her that she was part of a team monitoring a supernatural anomaly. She thinks he's asking her on a date, and she reluctantly agrees. Their weak piece of distraction involving a mime artist, Vision touches Darcy head to restore her real memories. Part of me secretly wanted a guest spot on the show, but seriously, that sucks. So basically, he kind of snaps her out of it, like he does Norm, right? That's his name. Mm-hmm. And she tells Vision that she has answers, but first they have to run away from the circus. So we have the strongman guy basically chasing them. He's like, "Oh, you guys are up next," and they're like, no. What does he say? We were double booked or something like that.
He said we were double booked by the agency, and he's like, no, get back here, No.
And they climb into this truck. I don't know what it was, like an ice cream truck or something.
Yeah, it's like let me see, it's coming up. 1 second. It is a funnel love. The clown's favorite funnel cake creation truck. That's what it says here.
Yeah, they hop in the van and they steal it, and Vision asks if his kids are okay and about the identity of that imposter Pietro. And she says she has no idea about it.
I will tell you that the funnel cake toppings offered are whipped cream and chocolate shavings. If you wanted to know that.
Okay. Now we're back in Wanda's house, and the glitching is increasing. Even the stork is back. So we have wallpaper coming off the wall, it looks like. We have the stairs changing. We have the TV changing. We have the dining room table changing. And then it cuts to like a talking head where Wanda says she doesn't understand why it's all falling apart and why she can't fix it. And then we hear the interviewer say, do you think maybe this is what you deserve? That was my best impression that I could do right there. Now that was kind of like that reminded me of like in The Office, when I feel like there's some moments I feel like where somebody talks in the background. Especially the mic guy. I don't remember his name. Do you remember his name? Is it like Brian? Brian.
There you go. You had it. Schmodown.
And then we get to the commercial break. As we do every week, we get an ad. So now I'm going to tell you what I think, what I've read, and if you could tell me this is true, if this is true or not, because I'm assuming, do you have background knowledge on this?
I do.
Would you be able to confirm? Okay.
I do.
So this is how I explained it to Danielle from what I have watched YouTube videos on. So basically, there are these Nexus Beings, as they were called, correct? And there are Nexus Beings, and Wanda happens to be one of them. Basically, that means there is one you. So across these dimensions, you are a constant. In these different dimensions, there is not different Wandas. There's one Wanda, correct? And I don't know. I don't remember what they can do. But these Nexus Beings are overseen by the Time Variance Authority, the TVA, which is Owen Wilson in Loki. And I'm assuming they're going to connect somehow. Exactly. And I'm assuming they're going to connect, and that's all I have.
Wow. That's crazy.
Am I correct?
Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Now, what do they do? What does that mean to be a Nexus Being?
Basically exactly what you just said.
Okay.
Hang on, let me just see. 'Cause I want to double check something real quick. Hello? Whoops. There we go. Nexus Beings. Bang, bang, bang. Okay. So, interesting here. Because pretty much the only Nexus Beings from the comics are either are basically going to be making an appearance in the MCU in the next few years. So basically, because I was trying to see, I couldn't remember if Stephen Strange was a Nexus Being. He is not.
Right.
He is not a Nexus Being. So there are other Stephen Strange genes.
And I've also learned there's different types of magic as well. In Marvel.
In the comics,
which
absolutely.
We'll get into.
But now we're finally getting into the different types of because yes, Scarlet Witch is a mutant, but what she is doing is magic. Like she has magic, and also then Doctor Strange has magic. Two totally different types of magic, though. So basically, so a Nexus Being. Let's see here. Nexus Beings' powers are variable. So each Nexus Being has a power unique to themselves. For example, sorcery, psychometry, necromancy, and hex powers. So for Wanda, hex powers, obviously. Despite all having the potential to change probability. So basically that means, any newborn Nexus Being could have any type of power. It's not just set to those examples.
Right.
So very interesting. Exactly like you said, Nexus Beings are vigilantly watched over by cosmic forces such as the Watchers, the Timekeepers, and the Time Variance Authority. Absolutely, just like what you said. Time Variance Authority with Gugu and Mbatha Raw's character in Loki and Owen Wilson's character in Loki. Who knows? Maybe even they show up here. I don't know. That would be pretty cool.
If we could get an Owen Wilson cameo, I'd be very happy.
WandaVision. So basically, some representatives of Nexus Beings is Scarlet Witch, Jean Grey, Vision, Franklin Richards, and Kang the Conqueror. Now, Kang the Conqueror, we know, is going to be the main villain of Ant-Man 3. Well, we don't know that he's going to be the main villain. We know he is going to be in Ant-Man 3. Franklin Richards, obviously, Reed and Sue's son, who is eventually coming along. Jean Grey, obviously, will be coming along. And then Vision, obviously. Vision. Like, I don't know what else to say about that. He is clearly a Nexus Being because he was made, like, he was created, not birthed. So the likelihood is even rarer. But yes, he is the only Vision in the entire multiverse. Let's see.
Well, I'm just gonna go through the commercial real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
I kind of jumped off. So it says a woman sits alone on the park bench, feeling depressed. Asks the voiceover, like the world goes on without you. Do you just want to be left alone? Ask your doctor about Nexus. Apparently, it's a unique antidepressant that works to anchor you back to your reality or the reality of your choice. You should not take Nexus unless your doctor has cleared you to move on with your life. Nexus because the world doesn't revolve around you, or does it? So now I don't know where this goes. Like because I know the theory that people were having, I think before the last episode was that the commercials were having to do with the Infinity Stones. I feel like this commercial kind of
Undoes that.
washes that away.
I thought some
so,
of them
but I
were.
could be wrong.
I thought some of them were even a big stretch, as is like
stretch,
the
yeah.
Hydra Soak thing. Like they were like, "Oh, that's clearly the Tesseract because it's shaped like a blue box." Well, I mean but it has nothing to do with space. Yeah, it's like, what does that have to do anything with the Space Stone? Nothing. But yeah, so I think that's another thing about, like we said, about like censoring the broadcast. Who are these commercials for?
Right. Who's watching these?
Who is making these commercials and who is watching these commercials? Like that's like that's what I don't understand. Like I know that Matt Shankman is making these commercials, and I know that we are watching them. But why are they in this show? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, what is the meta purpose for them?
Yeah.
Which I think is unknown.
I kind of skipped over this when I was reading the IMDb synopsis, but when Agnes takes the kids away to babysit them to leave Wanda, they do like a talking head about something about kids, and I forget something about biting, and she says something about that she actually bit a kid once, and I have seen the theory that people were thinking that the kid on the milk carton is the kid that she bit. I don't know how that would work, but that was the theory that I saw.
I saw a thing. So basically, like, we are now in full on, magic territory, like real magic, like Earth magic, like Earth, what is it even called? Earth mythology with magic and stuff when we're talking about this. I have seen, so, witches, they have like familiars, right? So like an animal, or sometimes like a sidekick, or like not slave, but like a helper or an assistant or something like that. I saw something that we're going to get to it in a little bit, but I saw that somebody said they believe, actually, we'll wait.
We'll get into it. Okay.
We'll wait on that.
Yeah. So at Agnes's house, Billy tells her she likes it. Billy tells her he likes it there. Why is these people, man? Agnes asks if that's because her rabbit, Senor Scratchy, is such a good listener, but Billy says it's actually because it's quiet. He says, "You're quiet, Agnes," he explains, "on the inside." Tommy asks Agnes if she thinks their mom's okay. Agnes says they don't have to worry. Wanda can do anything. She's super mom. Agnes admits to camera that she has a tendency to sugarcoat things. So this is kind of the hard-hitting questions are coming out, I feel like. What's going on here? The kids want to know what's going on, because clearly they can sense some uneasiness in everybody. Outside the anomaly, Rambo dresses in a spacesuit, ready to drive the rover into Westview, and vows to save Darcy. Goodner tells Wu that she's driving SWORD's most heavily armored space rover. Rambo will sail right through unharmed. Okay, that's a bold claim. Monica accelerates towards the energy field, but she doesn't sail through it. It's more like smashing into a wall. That's literally what happens. Like she drives into it, she's immediately stopped, and they look at Jimmy and the Major, and she's like, "Oh, it's matching the density, I think it was, of the truck. So we are not plowing through that." She tries to push through, but the field's density matches hers and causes the front wheels to ride upwards. The field starts to absorb the rover. Gunnar says the vehicle is disintegrating, but Wu corrects her, telling her it's being rewritten. And we see that when eventually the rover gets kind of like spit out by the shield. And
after Monica jumps out.
After Monica jumps out, and it's like half rover, half like pickup truck.
Yeah.
Or flatbed, which I thought was kind of cool. I thought it looked pretty good too. Like I didn't think it looked bad. Did you? Yeah.
No. The visual effects on this are fantastic.
Yeah. He gets on the radio to tell Monica to get out of the rover before it absorbs her. The rover is pulled in further before being thrown out. The front of the vehicle has been transformed into a standard 4x4. Monica looks at the field and looks at Wu. She says she can get through. As Wu urges her not to, she sprints back toward the hex field and forces herself inside. She fights her way into Westview. She hears flashbacks of her mother, Carol Danvers, and Nick Fury. When she emerges, her eyes are glowing blue. Her body has been charged somehow, and she can see the hex field glowing. She runs towards the town. Now, I thought this was really cool. Like, everybody kind of assumed that she was going to get her powers after the whole blood test thing and in the previous episode where it's like nothing's showing up. I thought the transformation of her getting her powers kind of was really cool. I like the whole, like, it was kind of tearing these different layers of her apart almost. Yeah. Where I think there's like one that she's like a child. There's one where she's playing her character in the show when she was in there.
Yeah, Geraldine.
Geraldine. I think there was another one too. And then you get these different voiceover.
Yeah, I gotta pause right here with them all split apart. Right. It's young Monica from Captain Marvel, which I don't know.
Captain Marvel.
I'd be interested to know if they brought that actress back in to record like a quick thing, or if they just took unused Captain Marvel footage. Probably just unused Captain Marvel footage. So it's the little girl Monica, then Geraldine, the 60s Geraldine, and then the 70s Geraldine. Monica now, Monica in the blue jacket when she first got sucked in, and then Monica from the hospital when she came back from the blip. So there's six versions of Monica. A lot. Yeah, it's 6 versions of Monica all here. And then we get the great line, again, which we heard when she came back from the blip, the whole Lieutenant Trouble thing that Carol called her. And then we hear Carol say, kind of all the voices are faded a little bit. But then right at the end, we hear very firmly, Brie Larson as Carol Danvers. We hear the line from Captain Marvel of like, your mom's lucky. When they were handing out kids, they gave her the toughest one. And then, it kind of in superhero fashion, they get the boost they need. And then Monica kind of goes,
the juice.
Yeah, she kind of goes like firms up, and then all the versions of her slap into one.
Slap together.
Yeah. And then she busts through the thing. And then shows her the first sign of her main powers in the MCU, which is, her power is she can see all forms of light and energy and also be all forms of light and energy. So we haven't seen the being part yet. She has not turned into a being of pure energy yet. I don't know if they have the budget for that on this show. But we did see that she can see in all aspects, all energy,
which again
fields.
Was very cool. The different
very
waves
cool.
and stuff
I thought visually
awesome.
This was one of the this is the single best, single most visually appealing, what do you call it? Not origin story, but like the scene. You know what I mean? Like Bruce getting the gamma rays. Like Peter getting bit by the spider. What is that called? Like Carol getting injected with the Tesseract. You know what I'm talking about? Like in comic books.
Right. I'm not sure.
Yeah, whatever it is. But the scene where they get their powers, like the inciting incident of when they get their powers. I think this was like the most visually stunning version of that we have seen in the entire MCU.
I'd agree with that.
It was just so... And also, we should just talk about the first super powered... like transformation. Yes.
Transformations.
Like power transformation. Thank you. It's listen, there's a lot of stuff going on in our heads right now. But thank you. Wow, she can even see. Sorry, I'm just like it's playing right now in front of me.
Reading the description of the
yeah,
oh, okay.
She can even the stars in the distance in the sky are even lit up different colors.
Oh,
so
that's
she
cool.
can see not only the energy emitting from the electricity poles and stuff like that, but she can literally see the individual star clusters from where she's standing. That's very, very cool. But also we should highlight first major hero of color, like Earth-based hero of color,
right?
Which is huge. Which we know, she's going to be taking even more of a center stage. Still not the main character, but even more of a center stage in Captain Marvel 2. Sorry, continue.
Very good. So we're back to Darcy and Vision. Darcy tells Vision the story of his death and how Wanda killed him to save half the universe before Thanos rewound time, killed him all over again, and undid the universe saving. That was pretty brutal.
You hate to
They're
see
stopped by yet another red light, and Darcy says, "Kind of overkill out here in the sticks, don't you think? With all these, red lights." And Vision goes, "Yes," kind of like an insightful, like, yeah, that is weird. As the light goes green and they try to pull away, a team arrives to repair the lights, holding them up further. Vision tells the unseen interviewer that he thinks Wanda is creating these impediments to stop me returning home. I'm not amused. Again, his talking heads to the camera are maybe one of the funniest in this episode, in my opinion.
And he also in this scene does a Jim look. He does. Right. He has a look straight to camera. Yeah.
Vision tries to get his head around who he is. He understands his thoughts are based on Tony Stark's AI Jarvis, and that his body was created by Ultron. Again, another Ultron reference. We like to reference him in this show. But what does that make him now? Darcy assumed Wanda just flicked a switch in his head, but that doesn't explain why he can't leave the hex. Yeah, so basically, I think she says, I'm what is she again?
Who?
Darcy. Like, what's her like?
She just says she's more of a STEM girl, like STEM,
right,
like STEM technology,
she's not like
she's like I just kind of think equal, like every action has an equal and opposite reaction, so I just figured she just turned you back on. I don't I think it's just kind of saying like she's just out of her depth on whatever the hell happened with him.
Yeah. She says, what I do know is I've past week. She adds, and the love you two have is real. You belong together, which I think we all could see. Again, that's kind of the audience speaking almost. Like, I think we could all see that, especially in, I feel like Civil War, they kind of really hit it off, especially if I remember correctly.
The pepper cache, man.
Right.
Cooking with Wanda and Vision,
But yeah, and this show just, again, the chemistry that Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen have, I feel like, is unmatched in the MCU almost.
I think at this point, I think it's definitely unmatched at this point.
I mean, you could say like Gwyneth and Robert Downey Jr.,
true.
But I think that's like those two are top tier.
Tom and Zendaya.
Yeah, but I guess
still have a ways to go to prove.
They still have a while. They still have a while.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Monica arrives at Wanda's house and bursts in. Wanda asks how she got in here and tells her to get out of the house. Monica tries to warn her about Hayward's plans for Vision, but Wanda uses her powers to launch the sword agent into the air. The neighbors, including Dottie, look on. What? What?
She's taking the Nexus pills.
Who is?
Wanda.
What do you mean? Oh,
when
is
Monica walks in, she has a open pill bottle and it's popping pills right now.
Oh shit! I remember the pill thing. I didn't think it was the Nexus pills.
Rattle.
Oh, I must have missed that. Oh shit. Well, we finally get a Dottie again. We haven't seen her in a long time. The drones, the missiles, Pietro, all you do is lie, argues Wanda. As Monica tries to explain Sword had nothing to do with Pietro, Wanda slams her into the sidewalk. Monica's new powers activate, and she's surrounded by blue energy as she hits the ground. Her eyes glow blue again. And as this happens, we have
superhero landing.
We have this. We have everybody standing still, and I saw a funny TikTok that somebody was like, the box that the mailman has.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's a gift, and it cuts to 7, and we have, I'm not gonna say a spoiler, but
Pepper Potts, Pepper Potts.
Oof, that was a rough one
in this episode.
Monica tells Wanda that the only lies she's told are the ones Wanda put in her mouth and challenges Wanda to take her out. Wanda pauses. Monica tells her that that's what makes her different to Hayward, that Hayward is prepared to burn Westview to the ground to get what he wants. Don't let him make you the villain. She says, maybe I already am.
Wow.
That was, wow. I was ready for a fight here. I don't know about you. I was ready for something. Again, like Monica doesn't really know. Like, she knows she has something at this point, like a power. Yeah. But I don't think she knows how to utilize anything. I think she just knows, like you said, she can see like the different energies and stuff like that. Agnes notices the disturbance through her front window. Monica tells Wanda she's not afraid of her. She says she also lost the person closest to her. The worst thing I can think of that has already happened to me, and I can't change it, and I can't undo it. I can't control this pain anymore, and I don't think I want to because it's my truth. Agnes interrupts, telling Rambo she's outstayed her welcome, that Wanda's been through enough. She tells Wanda to run along. So basically, I think that's kind of almost incorrect. She kind of tells Monica, it's like, okay, you can leave now. And she kind of takes Wanda to her house.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of was like, okay, let's go, you know. Traffic light appears, repairs continue in front of Vision and Darcy, but before they can pull away, a class of kids cross the road. And we kind of show Vision talking to the interviewer, and he's kind of like, what am I doing here? Like, I need to go get my wife, you know? And he's like, he takes off his mic, and then he bumps into the boom arm, like you said, and he's walking away, and then it pans back to them in the truck, and he warps through the top of the truck and flies away.
You literally just said like, all of that exactly in time with it happening. I was literally watching you like describe what I was looking at.
And Darcy's like, oh, I guess I'll meet you there. You know, like, oh, I guess I'll drive there.
That's the last we see of Darcy in the episode too.
That's the last time we see of Darcy. Same with Vision, but that's the last we see of Vision too in the episode.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're back. We're in Agnes's house for not the first time because we saw it earlier in the episode. Mm-hmm. But Wanda asks where the twins are. Agnes says they're probably in the basement. I'm actually getting ahead of myself because before she does that, she kind of sits down on the couch and is very uncomfortable, I would say. There's a rabbit in a cage, and there's also it is not a fly on the shades. I have read that as a cicada. There was a theory that I'll get back to that people were throwing around, and people were like, no, that's not true. It's a cicada, not a fly.
Mm-hmm. I also saw people calling it a moth, and I was like, no.
A moth?
Yeah,
that is not a moth. She walks down the stairs, and the boys are nowhere to be seen. She finds herself in a huge, creepy cellar full of vines with magical texts and skulls. Agnes walks into the room holding her rabbit. Wanda, you didn't think you were the only magical girl in town, did you? The name's Agatha Harkness. Lovely to finally meet you, dear. She used her magic to put something in Wanda's brain. And then we cut to, what is the theme song? It was Agatha all along.
There
so
we
catchy,
go.
So catchy.
Okay, let's talk about this book real quick.
The book is definitely something. Obviously. Should I talk about the credit scene real quick? I'll get to the end. Hold on. Let me get to the end of the episode.
Finish the episode. And then
so basically the show is cutting all these different scenes where it's actually Agatha or Agnes controlling. So she's controlling Pietro. She's controlling Herb, right? That's his name, the neighbor.
Yep.
Cutting the hedges. And then we go to credits at the end of this. And then we go to the med credit scene, which some people didn't know existed. And it's Monica snooping around the house. And she opens the cellar doors. And then we get Evan Peters standing next to her. And he says, snoopers love to snoop, right? And then it cuts there. And that's the end of the episode.
So this is what I'll say about Evan Peters isn't pulling up this thing that I was just looking for. There it is. So witches have like familiars and stuff and like assistants and stuff. People have said that Evan Peters is this Ralph character that Agnes or Agatha is consistently talking about and referencing. You know, Ralph always says that you should see my husband Ralph. Like people are saying that Evan Peters is actually this Ralph character.
Right.
Working with, because he's definitely not like Mephisto, and he's definitely not Pietro, and he's definitely not no one.
I think if you thought that Evan Peters was Quicksilver from the Fox universe, I think you were just completely off base, in my opinion.
Yeah, because it doesn't make any sense.
Because that would have never happened. I just don't think that Kevin Feige would have been like, it has to be something like it can't be that on the nose for him. Where he'd be like, yep, same character, just in the MCU. Like I don't think that would ever happen.
I'm gonna on the fly here. Bear with me, folks, because I am adding a window capture to the stream.
Now, actually, quick, to go back to my cicada fly, what I just was talking about. Apparently, I think it's on like the fandom page for Mephisto. It says that Mephisto first shows up in the comics as a fly. So people were thinking that what they thought was a fly on the curtains was Mephisto.
People think everybody is.
People think everybody's Mephisto. I mean,
they thought the red dot
I've heard
on the
Dottie.
toaster.
I've heard Dottie is Mephisto. I've heard that.
I've heard Deborah Jo.
Deborah Jo
Rupp was Mephisto.
I don't know about that one. That's a long stretch.
I don't even know if Mephisto is in this show.
Yeah.
The only thing. So this is my thinking of why it might not be Mephisto and why it might be somewhere. I've said this on this show a couple times. Why I lean a little more towards I mean, they might do Mephisto. Absolutely, it could be.
Right.
Why I lean a little more on the Nightmare route, who is a similar character.
See now, okay, can you give me background on Night? Because I don't know anything about him.
You don't know anything about Nightmare.
Correct.
So more of a Doctor Strange villain.
Okay.
But as Marvel does, it's not like DC where most of the time, the rogues galleries stick to the main superhero. Kind of, it's just like these bigger villains, they kind of go to everybody. So Nightmare is like Mephisto is like literally the devil. Like he is literally the guy who runs hell, not Hela.
It's not a hell. It's not hell. It's like a different.
Not Hel, not
LL.
Hela from like Thor. Not like Norse hell. This is like hell. HE double hockey sticks. Like this is like a parallel dimension that is like a demon dimension that Mephisto runs, and like Mephisto is like where the humans got the concept of the devil from. That kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So Mephisto basically he is the devil. Nightmare is like a extra dimensional being who, like his name says, he causes nightmares and like basically messes with people. Very similar characters, very similar, abilities and powers and stuff. That's why it really could be either one in this case. The reason why I would lean more towards Nightmare is because of China, because China does not allow things to be shown that have to do with the devil. So Marvel, if they went with Mephisto, they would literally not even be able to show it in China. And that is a huge market.
That's a huge market, yeah.
Yeah, like that is why, that's why I lean more towards Nightmare, because Nightmare doesn't really have the hell devil connotation to it, but kind of fills the same role. But maybe it's something with the Disney Plus deal, because it's not theatrical. They can work around it just for this once. So that might be possible, and it could be Mephisto as well. But I tend to lean a little bit more towards it being Nightmare, especially because this is leading into Doctor Strange 2. That's not to say that Mephisto can't be the villain in Doctor Strange 2, but it's a tricky route to then play Doctor Strange 2 in China. So it's like it's the same thing with like a lot of movies that just can't play in China because they have to do with the devil.
So let's talk a little bit about this book. That we see.
So let me pull this up.
Propped up.
Let me pull this up. So again, TJ, I'm harping on this drum. I know you got a lot of shows to catch up on, man. But Agents of Shield again coming up here. Coming up here again, man. So for those who have watched Agents of Shield out there, know that a big, huge thing in that is this big book called The Darkhold. It is one of.
That's what it's called.
It is one of the. It also the exact same book, exact same design. The same physical book that Phil Coulson and the entire Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. team tussle with also appears in the Marvel show The Runaways, which is set within the MCU. It's the exact same book, same design, everything.
Oh, is Runaways canon?
Yeah. Yeah, like the Darkhold in Runaways is not just a Darkhold, it's literally the one from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it is canon. It's same with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. though. It's kind of loose canon, but it is canon.
Loose, yeah.
But what's it called? This is not that. This is one of those books, which I will pull up right here, as you guys can see right here. This is a shot from 2016's Doctor Strange. TJ, I don't know if you have the
yeah, I have it up.
As you can see, first of all, a couple things going on in this picture. As we know, this is the library in the what is it called? Camertage, right? In Doctor
Uh-huh.
Strange. And as you can see, the books not only are there, and not only are they clearly the same type of book that both the Darkhold is and what is in Agatha's basement, but they are also held within hexagons, which is a whole nother thing. And
Right.
as you can see right there, there is one missing. So
Interesting.
that is what
Okay.
people are thinking, that this is the missing book from that, because in the comics, the Darkhold would not be this missing book, because it basically, the Darkhold doesn't really have a whole lot to do with Camertage and all that kind of stuff. That's more of like a different kind of thing. So people are thinking that maybe this is that kind of book. And if you look at the shot in WandaVision, which let me see if I can actually pull up. This video might have the shot of that book. Yes, it does. Look at that. Bang. Look at that. As you can see here, God, I feel like as you can see here, if you look very closely, you'll know. Like, as you can see clearly, there is some sort of a red or orange magic on this book that I am wondering, we've been talking about this whole time, that somebody is using Wanda's magic for something. I think maybe, so this is my theory here for the end of the show. I think either Nightmare or Mephisto, whoever it is trapped inside this book.
Okay.
And that glowing stuff around it is either them trying to get out, or what I think that it is Wanda's power being used, that Agatha Harkness is using Wanda's power to free this entity from hell.
Free. Okay. So you're not on the, so Danielle is on the train of, she doesn't think Agatha is
evil,
the bad. Yes. Because I mentioned this earlier, and I've been trying to watch some YouTube videos.
I think it could go either way.
There's one channel called Comics Explained does a very good job of doing like they did like a 2.5 hour video on the entire Infinity War saga and like the comics. The Agatha Harkness actually first appears, I believe, as a babysitter for Reed Richards and Sue Storm.
Yeah,
to Franklin Richards.
Franklin Richards, another Nexus being.
Yeah, and she's also not in the comics. She's more good than bad. Mostly.
Oh yeah, she's absolutely.
Yeah, she's not.
She is on occasion a gray moral character. She's never a villain. So that's why I think it'd be a little odd if she was doing that.
Yeah.
So
because I could get on the train that she is almost trying to guide Wanda, even though this episode kind of neglects that in a way where it's like, well, is she? Because like, what did she just do to her?
Yeah. But I mean,
it looks like she put some sort of whatever on her. I don't know. And I've heard this kind of thrown around here is the purple. So we see she kind of has like a purple magic. People are kind of putting that, bringing that back to Dormammu and Doctor Strange. I don't know if that would connect in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, I think it would absolutely be cool if, we could find out that Agatha in this is maybe she's not born of Earth. Maybe she's literally from the dark dimension. I think that would be cool if they said, she has purple magic because she is literally not like the ancient one, not like Tilda Swinton, who was using the energy from the dark dimension, to stay powerful and stuff.
Right.
Maybe Agatha is literally from there, like that. That I think would be cool. Because you're right. That's the only place we've seen purple magic before.
We definitely need like a background story on her. I don't know if it's like, maybe it's an episode of WandaVision in the upcoming possibly 3 episodes. I heard Danielle said that she heard that there's possibly like the next episode could be like how we got here with Agatha. I don't know if that's true, but
I will say in chat right now, you guys are reading my mind. Because absolutely, as TJ was talking right there, Michelle just said exactly what I was changing mine to, which was maybe she is using Wanda's power to keep him inside the book.
Right.
Because we know, let's just keep this train of thought going with the dark dimension. We know with the ancient one that people in our dimension that draw their power from or originate their power from the dark dimension have to keep re-upping. They are not as strong here as they are there. So maybe Agatha can't keep whoever this is at bay by herself and needs someone, and kind of saw this as an opportunity to help Wanda. And, but also, like we said, she's kind of morally gray. So the whole hostage thing probably doesn't mean that much to her.
Yeah.
But what's it called? But then there's the whole thing of like, why did she kill Sparky? She literally says
at the end of the
supercut,
supercut, she goes, "And I killed Sparky."
And then she she does like the evil laugh, like the complete evil laugh.
I'm on what Danielle just said is if she is the villain, she's not the main villain. Like, I think this is leading up to a bigger villain.
You don't do your big villain reveal with
like
2 hours left. You know what I mean? You don't do that with 2 hours left. Like, there's got to be somebody bigger.
Do you have any theories what happened to the kids? I've heard somebody was like, "Oh, I think the one of the kids is the bunny." And I was like, "What are you talking about? The bunny was already there."
Yeah, Senor Scratchy's been in the show since like the first episode.
Yeah, so no,
the
that's
second
not
episode.
it.
So, well, it could go either one of two ways. If Agatha is evil, maybe they dead. If she's not evil, maybe she clearly. So we're dealing with some sort of a hocus pocus, Nightmare Before Christmas room of doors here. That each door probably opens to like a different dimension. If we're guessing, maybe she took them out of our dimension to protect them. You know what I mean? Like, shit's about, listen, I'm bringing you down here. Now I'm doing a complete 180. Now I'm doing this like Agatha's not evil. Like, listen, I'm bringing you down here finally because I need to finally reveal myself to you because this is getting to be too much. It was fine when the hex was small.
Smaller.
But now that you expanded it, we got to work together on this more because I got to let you in on what the hell's going on here because I can't do this by myself. Like that kind of a thing. So this is the time that I have to reveal myself to you so that we can work together on this. Because I don't think that this was like, it's a cutoff cliffhanger because, is Wanda going to be okay? I think it's a cutoff cliffhanger because I think the next thing is like, but listen, I don't care. I'm not here to hurt you or your family.
Yeah.
I need your help. Like that.
I said this to Danielle earlier. I go, if
that's what I hope
the way she kind of like hexes her, or whatever you want to call it, do we think? The way is there a possibility that Vision and Wanda fight in the next episode? Because he's coming to get her. And obviously we don't know what happened to Monica. We just know Evan Peters kind of shows up and he's like, and he kind of basically scares her, and that's about it cuts there. I don't know. I'm assuming that Vision comes and, maybe she's kind of acting a little odd. She's kind of been he's kind of suspecting that she's been off the entire show, I feel like. But yeah, like Michelle says, I think they fight together to save Westview. But I think that either if she is the villain, then she's like Wanda's under this like what I guess you can make the argument like Agatha isn't nearly as strong as Wanda, so maybe she doesn't have that capability to kind of control her in that way. But
I think all she was doing with the hex on her, I think the hex on her was showing her the Agatha all along thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because the last time we've seen the how do they do it with the hand, that kind of thing. Was Age of Ultron. That's what Wanda did to every one of the Avengers except Hawkeye because he stuck her with the arrow. And she very funny scene. But and that was to show them visions. You know what I mean? No pun intended. That's where he gets his name from. But But that was to show them visions. Black Widow saw, her past. Thor saw, Ragnarok and the future.
Yeah, Tony saw
Tony shit his pants.
Everybody dead.
Cap, saw a future with Peggy in the past.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's something that's possible. So I think that was just simply her giving her information. And I don't think Wanda literally saw the it's been Agatha. I think it was like Wanda was seeing everything that Agatha did just actually. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think she saw like the title card and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I think it was that was just a clever way to show us fans what was happening.
Are we on the? Can we?
And also, Sparky's just a dog at the end of the day. So I mean, it's not. She's not a monster. You know what I mean? For killing a dog.
What?
In the grand
I don't know
scheme
if
of things.
you want to the train of. Do we think Hayward is like just an asshole at this point?
Bro,
Because
I think Hayward
if
could
your
literally
theory comes,
either be an asshole or he could literally just be Ultron. I think either one is
how
possible.
is he Ultron though? How does that make sense?
Okay, I will show you that. You got the stream up right now?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on.
Are you telling me he's like a robot?
Yeah, wow, I will show you right now.
Okay. I think that'd be really cool. I think I said I really but again, you just can't drag it out. Like it has to be like maybe like not even a movie, like maybe a few episodes of a show, and that's because I just feel like you can't. There's too many villains to start reusing villains.
Mm-hmm.
And Ultron doesn't pose a multiple arc threat like say Thanos did.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's very different.
Let's see. Who is Ultron? Disguise himself as Truman Marsh. Okay, hang on. I'm just doing some work to get this clip. Hang on.
What does Ultron say again? No strings on me.
Yeah, I got no strings on me.
Right. I actually just watched. We watched Iron Man 3 Thursday night. And I don't know about Guy Pearce is the villain.
What do you mean?
He was okay. I don't know.
Trans.
I completely forgot about that movie because I forgot that
I'm struggling here.
Oh my lord. His name Ben Kingsley. That he's just like not. He's just an actor.
I'm Trevor.
That was funny. And again, that was not like the Mandarin, correct? Or like Kevin Feige was like, no, the real Mandarin is in like 10 Rings, right?
Yeah, he'll be in Shang-Chi, yeah.
Oh right. Man, I just love this magic route that we're going down. Ugh, I love this stuff.
I can't find the video, but like this guy right here.
All right. Hang on. If you it'll show up in a minute for me.
Hold up. Open image, new tab.
That guy. Okay.
This guy right here, like that.
Which one?
You'll see. Hang on. I'm pulling it up big right now. This guy is
this guy.
Truman Marsh. That is Ultron. Like Ultron disguised himself as a man at S.H.I.E.L.D. for years.
Okay.
Like in the comics. Like, and this is from one of the animated shows. Like that it was a real thing that Ultron did. He disguised himself as an actual flesh and blood man for years to infiltrate the Avengers. So that is absolutely like a thing that is very much on the table with Hayward literally being Ultron. Which I think would be...
okay, if it had happened, then you got me on that one. Like if it was just like if it was never in in anything before, then I'd be like, that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, no, literally, like, and then he literally just morphs from a man back into like Ultron.
I feel like it's not like, even though obviously Wanda is tied obviously to Ultron. I don't think it's a coincidence that they keep they've mentioned it multiple times. I feel like in the show, I don't think it's
like, yes, she is tied to Ultron.
Yeah,
but that not, and also by the way, Vision is more tied to Ultron than she is.
Oh no, yes,
Vision was, and also Hayward's entire thing is that he wants Vision.
Right.
He wants Vision. He wants Vision's body to be working again. But doesn't care about what did Jimmy say? He wasn't trying to get, Vision's personality back. He was trying to get his body back online. So I think that that absolutely could happen. I really think it's what?
How do you think you reveal that though? Like
bro,
just suddenly you hear James Spader and
I mean, but they've said that, James Spader has been like,
oh, he doesn't want to?
No. He's totally up for it. Like,
Oh,
there's
okay,
just
okay.
there's been that rumor that James Spader is going to be in this show. Like, there's been that rumor, just like
Oh,
Evan
right,
Peters.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
for months, there's been that rumor that James Spader will show up.
I
And
saw
at
I
this
saw
point,
this.
in terms of how you do it, I just trust
Yeah.
in Kevin Feige to pull it off.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Again,
If
we have to stop doubting of
Especially
Marvel. Like,
if there is a secret 10th episode. If we have 2
Oh.
hours left of this show, all of Age of Ultron was 2.5 hours. And you already know who the character is. And you already know who Hayward is. So, you know what I mean? It doesn't take that much longer. All you have to say is, well, the reason why I want his body is because there are no strings on. Like, you know, I'm the fucking Lizard King. That's what. Oh,
I saw a TikTok that was
that's
like,
what Tyler. That's what Taylor. Oh my God, Hayward is gonna go. He's gonna say, Wanda, you want to start a street fight with me? You're gonna be surprised at how ugly it gets. You don't even know my real name. And then he rips his face off, and he goes, and he starts turning into Ultron, and he goes, I'm the fucking Lizard King.
that'd be
Oh
so
my God.
funny. Oh my God.
That would be crazy.
Danielle hates Robert California. Hates that character. So
Hates?
much.
Oh
I
my
think he's so
gosh.
funny.
That would be so funny. All right, hang on. Let's
my
catch up
God.
on chat here because we've been kind of
I know.
speculating real quick. I think so. This is Danielle. I think Sparky was sent by whoever is the actual villain, and she killed him in order to protect Wanda or Key. Okay, that is very true. Maybe Sparky was a bad thing, and Agatha's
Could
like,
be.
well, I killed Sparky because he was sent here. He had a bomb in his neck or something. You know, no, not that, but like, you know, like maybe Sparky was like a red herring or like a, you know, kind of, what do they say?
Right.
Like a canary in the coal mine. Like he was kind of the infiltrator.
I
that
think
would
it's
be a
clear
way
that
that
you
you
can
could
see
explain
that Wanda is clearly losing like either like control or she's kind of like not less powerful, but she's not as powerful as she was when the first episode started and the Hex was like, again, I'm assuming you're going to be able to control this with the Hex expanding. I'm surprised there were even like, maybe it's just to make it look more normal. We had all those people when Monica comes to confront her, that we had people walking around in the mail delivery guy. But like we said in the Halloween, like I said in the Halloween episode, you have all these basically, if you want to call them literally like unused NPCs that are just standing here doing nothing. And, you know, it's almost like, again, they're only being used when they need to be used. Oh my God. If Ultron comes, man, I will lose it if Ultron
Listen,
comes
I would be ready if Ultron comes back.
Oh, same.
Also,
again,
by the way,
like I said, I love Ultron.
By the way, also, I feel like we are a complete, not you, like you,
Yeah.
TJ, like in the general sense, in the royal use of the word you, like this show could literally wrap up. Doctor Strange goes, yo, you're coming with me. Hayward's like, you know, all right, it's all taken care of. That's all good. Bro, think about how many times Thanos got teased to us.
Yeah.
The end credits of this show could be literally Hayward looking into a mirror and pulling Eric Selvig from Thor, you know, like, well, I guess that's worth a look. And then you see in the mirror, it's Ultron and it's James Spader. Well, I guess that's worth a look. You're like, literally, that could just be it. It could be the end credit. It could have nothing to do with this show at all. It could literally just be the end credit. That's like, all right, we know that Tyler Hayward is in this universe, and we know that he is actually Ultron. What the hell happens next? And that's the end credits of this show.
But like I said, like,
and that way it doesn't complicate
Ultron,
this plot.
You can't make Ultron the villain of like Doctor Strange 2, obviously. Like, I don't know what movie
No,
he
that's
would
why
show up in.
that's why I think it would work even better if it's something that only the audience is let in on and not the characters.
Okay. Not the
so
characters.
if it's
Gotcha.
something that only we find
like the
out.
Loki thing.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Like if it's something that we see an end credit that Hayward reveals to himself or like changes back to Ultron himself, you know, I think that would be crazy. And then that way you don't have to deal with it in Doctor Strange 2. You don't have to deal with it in Spider-Man 3. Maybe you deal with it in Captain America 4. Or maybe you deal with it in, you know, something else even further down the line. I don't even know what the hell's coming out. You could deal with it in what do they have any movies coming out? I can't.
Who?
Marvel
Any
Studios.
movies? I don't know.
can't. like you could deal with it in like a Captain America 4 or something like that, or Fantastic Four. Maybe Ultron's a villain in Fantastic Four.
Ooh, that'd be cool. I think you gotta do Doom, but actually no, because I feel like Doom.
I wouldn't want to see him first out.
No, yeah, I think Doom is like a bigger villain. I feel like. I mean, obviously I feel like he's mainly the villain, obviously, of Fantastic Four, but I feel like Doctor Doom in itself is like a big enough character that he could.
Boom! Just thought about it. You ready for this? You ready for this?
Okay.
Put Hayward in Captain Marvel 2. Right? He's got the pre-existing connection to Monica. Or maybe maybe Ultron is the villain for whatever they're doing with Young Avengers. Maybe Young Avengers is gonna be Hayward. His whole thing, he's anti-superhero and stuff like that. If he gets wind that they're starting a whole new team, maybe that's something that he is trying to shut down or something like that. Maybe he teams up with Thunderbolt Ross.
Yeah. Oh man, we haven't seen him in a while.
And helps him become.
He's coming back, right?
Endgame.
Oh yeah, right. We did.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's definitely coming back. There's rumors he's in Falcon and Winter Soldier. He's in Black Widow. We know that. And then he's got like he's one that just recently signed a new deal. Like for like 5 or 6 things. I think he'll probably be in Ant-Man 3. That kind of stuff. Like he'll be probably in the places that you would expect him to be in.
Are we gonna see? We're like way off like the path of WandaVision. Not way off.
Hey man, it's Planet Hero, not Planet WandaVision.
Are we gonna see? Are we ever gonna see Liv Tyler again?
No, I don't think so. Unless they do
I mean, there's not like a reason. I feel like, but
unless they do like a what am I trying to say? If they could finally buy back the rights to the Hulk distribution from Universal and could actually do a Hulk solo movie, then maybe.
But that is canon, though.
Yeah.
Correct?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So wait, how does that work then? They can't.
I was just saying, what the hell would be the point of bringing her in?
Unless that's what I was thinking.
Bruce Banner specific character,
exactly.
Specific
like
thing.
What's like the?
Because it's like clearly we have had we've had 4 movies now with William Hurt that she wasn't in.
Right.
So it's like it's not like we have to have her in a story with William Hurt because it's like he was in Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, and she never showed up. So it's like, who the hell really cares what happened to her?
Show me like a quick cameo in like She-Hulk. Give me like her and Ty Burrell like back together again.
Oh yeah, that I would love that. Are you kidding? Or
I would dig that.
Jennifer Walters is their divorce lawyer.
Oh, perfect.
Right?
Love it. See, there's these things you could just fit in. Again, not thrilled about Tim Roth coming back.
Listen, trust in Feige, man.
That villain sucked.
What was it that we were talking? Oh yeah, the leader, Tim Blake Nelson.
Tim Blake Nelson.
Really want to see him back.
We have to see him at some point. I don't know how you don't. What is his villain? What does he do?
I think you're gonna have William Hurt, Mark Ruffalo, Tim Roth, and Tim Blake Nelson, all of them in She-Hulk. I think all of those characters are going to be in there. We already have Mark Ruffalo confirmed. We basically know Thunderbolt Ross is going to be in She-Hulk. Probably, maybe even the main villain of She-Hulk. This time, obviously, working against... Maybe he's kind of like a middle ground, because if Abomination's in it, we know that Thunderbolt Ross and him do not get along anymore.
Correct.
So maybe even it's something that Abomination breaks out of the raft and is looking for Thunderbolt Ross, and maybe Hulk has to protect him.
Can he?
That would be interesting.
Can Blonsky, right? Blonsky. Can he like go back to regular? Can he or no?
I don't know. It's never been shown. I'm sure he will.
I don't know if he can do what.
I'm sure he will in this
Bruce
show.
Can, but.
And I would love to give me freaking William Hurt as Red Hulk. Have him inject himself, man. Like, come on. Like, we're running out of precious William Hurt time here, people. Like, the man is like, how old is he? Like 75, right? Probably. Like, Let him be a supervillain, man. Like,
Can you explain to me
William
what is
Hurt.
what is his power?
Age.
The
Red
leader.
Hulk? Oh, the
No.
leader. Oh, who am I bashing on William Hurt? He's 70. Look at that guy.
He's got time.
But I might not have time. Give me some freaking Red Hulk, God. Like, come on. No, but
God.
really, like, joking aside, he is such a good actor and he is so perfect in that role. Give him his comic book character. Like, he's great as Secretary of State or whatever he is. You know what I mean? Like, but he's probably going to be president soon in the next few movies. But I am not burying William Hurt already. It's not. He's only 70. He's got a long life ahead of him. But seriously, do the guy credit. He's been doing this character for like 15 years. Give him his comic book character.
All right, so I think we should kind of close out on our final theories. Again, it's not the last
Going
episode.
into the two finales.
Going into the two finales. What our theories are. I'll go first. I think I'm buying into. I think. What do I think? I think Agatha is. I think Agatha's bad.
Do you think it's been Agatha all along?
Yes, the song told me so.
Oh wow.
I think Agatha's bad, but I don't think I just don't think she's the overarching villain. I can buy into the. I guess that doesn't make her bad. I think she's half and half. Mm-hmm. She's doing it. She's doing what she thinks is right, but she's not doing it. But she's doing it kind of like in a malicious way.
It's like an anti-hero.
Basically. But I think she's trying to keep something in that book that we see. So I could buy that. Again, I don't know. You made a good point about the whole devil thing in China. So again, that could lead into the whole nightmare thing.
Can you imagine if somebody had no context and just joined the stream? I think she's trying to keep somebody in that book, and you might have been right about the whole devil thing in China. Like, what?
I'm kind of hopping off the Doctor Strange bandwagon of him showing up.
I think you're crazy.
I don't know, because
I'm talking the last 5 minutes. He's got to scoop her up, bro. They can't take precious time out of Doctor Strange 2 to explain what they could. Yeah, to go get her. Exactly. Because then you have to set it up to there. It's much easier for her to just be at the start of Doctor Strange 2 and people be like, what happened? Well, you should have watched WandaVision because now you're going to be, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But then again, it's easy enough to explain, Doctor Strange came in at the end of WandaVision.
Right.
As opposed to taking 15 minutes of movie to get her from Westview and all that stuff.
And John Krasinski as Reed Richards, I think that is very, 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 very possible. I don't know if it's show? Again. I don't know. I don't know if it's in the show. I don't know. Okay. I feel like that's too big of a character in the show. Mm-hmm. But again, the show has a movie style budget, and we've seen that, and they're not afraid to reveal things in the show.
Yeah.
That impact the MCU in a very big way. So, and I will petition for Al Pacino to play either villain or villain at some point in the MCU.
Wow.
And,
that would be insane.
I think it ends with something escaping from that book. As maybe an end credit scene. Maybe an Ultron tease. Maybe.
Really? Okay, so I'll go into mine because I feel almost exactly the opposite. I feel like the thing getting out of the book is what's going to be resolved in this show.
Okay.
Or maybe not, man.
Honestly, what if nothing happens with the book at all?
So I think maybe maybe whoever the villain is, they have a big fight here, and it's one of those things. Maybe Wanda gets her ass beat and can't do it by herself. The villain escapes, and then he's the villain of Doctor Strange 2. That I could see happening. But whoever is in the book, I think, is the main villain of this show.
Correct.
But that's not to say that he gets defeated in this show.
Right.
Now, other thing, I think absolutely, in my opinion, I'm sticking to it. Listen, I could be totally wrong. I could be completely wrong. but I am sticking to it. I think Ultron is making a comeback in this universe. I think he's a great character, an underappreciated character in an underrated movie that did not get enough
again,
love
I
at
liked
that
the
time.
movie. I feel like nobody liked it. I mean, not
like,
nobody liked it, but a lot of
yeah,
people
like
didn't
I
like
loved,
it.
like I thought it was,
Yeah.
it's one of my favorites. Like I can infinitely rewatch it. It is single-handedly the most important movie in the MCU to set up the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
It is everything changes in Age of Ultron. That's where you find out, well, you find out in Guardians, but they don't really tell you, what it means. Like Thor, explains what the Infinity Stones are, that 4 of them have shown up in the past couple years. They must be connected. You get Vision, you get the actual naming of the Infinity Stones, you get everything set up with Scarlet Witch, everything like that. I think it does the single most heavy lifting to get everything set up, to set the stage, kind of. It also helps set the stage for Civil War, which without Civil War, they would have probably beaten Thanos the first time. So yeah, I think it's a big thing. But I think definitely Ultron is going to be coming back. Let's end on this one question. Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to end on this one question, and each of us are going to give an answer, and then we will end the show almost at the 2-hour mark. Listen,
there's a lot to talk about.
There's
man.
a lot.
I love talking about this.
There's a lot of talk, and
stuff.
the MCU is the biggest film franchise in the world. So, well, I think we're entitled to talk about it a little bit. Not entitled. Nobody's entitled. Let's not use that word. Question time. Vision. You know him. You love him.
Yep.
Is he purple and green, or is he red and gray? Nobody knows. Everybody's colorblind. Paul Bettany's great. Yes or no? Do we see Paul Bettany go on as Vision in one form or another in the MCU past this show?
Can I give my reason?
Sure.
I think yes, because I don't know if it's possible. I think if the Ultron thing does come to fruition, that he overtakes his body, but you have Paul Bettany as that character, but not as his voice, if that makes sense. I don't know how that's possible.
Oh, okay. So you think maybe Ultron gets his way and takes over Vision's body?
I think so. Yeah.
Very interesting.
That'd be very, again, you're going back to it, but you're going back to this dynamic of her having to possibly kill Vision again. For the second time.
Oh my gosh.
But this time maybe it won't be reversed. It'll actually happen.
And Danielle, I don't think that killing a dog isn't a big deal. I mean, for a supervillain in a comic book movie, we're talking about Thanos wiping out half the universe, Ultron throwing the Earth back into a Stone Age, and Agatha, snapping a dog's neck. I don't mean to. I was never a dog person. Maybe that's, I don't know. But no, obviously that's dog life is important life, but just not to a supervillain. I think, okay, my answer, yes, I think Vision does continue. I think Paul Bettany does continue with the character. Crap, I was just gonna say something and I completely forgot what I was gonna say about it. I just think he's just too good of a character to stop.
Right.
Basically, yeah. I just think that's the thing. That's the rub. And that's what I was gonna say. And also, we have the great scene in Infinity War where Hulk. I keep calling him Mark Ruffalo, but Hulk. Bruce tells him, you are made up of a complex construct of different personalities and different things layered on top of each other. He's like, you're made of me, you're made of Tony, you're made of Ultron, you're made of Jarvis, you're made of Thor even. And he's like, and then he even says the line, he says, I think if we remove the Mind Stone, there's still a lot of Vision left, maybe even the best parts. So I don't think that the Mind Stone is necessary for Vision to be alive literally at all. I think he will be a severely weakened character because he won't have the Mind Stone, but he just won't be able to have the beam. You know what I mean? But who knows? Maybe they'll find a way to give him the Mind Stone. Maybe he makes his way
back to Wakanda. It's that thing.
Maybe. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up at the 2-hour mark here. So with that, That was episode 8 of Planet Hero for you guys, breaking down episode 7 of WandaVision, which was called Breaking the Fourth Wall. Also, about a half an hour of just regular MCU talk there. So yeah, as always, my name is Sean Monk, at Pace Eating Yak on Twitter down there, and with me as always is my wonderful co-host
TJ Cornwell, TJ_Cornwell below. Catch us on Tuesday. We are reviewing. We called an audible last night, or maybe 2 days ago. We're reviewing Nomadland. Came out on Hulu, I think, last night. Supposed to be directing nomination, best picture nomination, screenplay nomination, actress nomination. All these nominations supposed to be for the Oscars. So watch that today, tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday. Join us on Tuesday for that review at 8 p.m. And keep it posted for potential more shorts like I just clipped out. Maybe trailer reviews, trailer reactions, maybe a little TV show reviews. I don't know, something.
Yeah, absolutely.
But keep it posted here, Planet Film Network YouTube channel. See you on Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace out.